Okay, all right. Let me drop a message in the group that we have started and then we can begin. So I have dropped the message. I will share my screen and then I guess we can start. All right. So just a quick recap of what we did in the last session is we created something kind of alarm clock. Now, basically, the functions was major focus on like how set interval works and how set timeout works. Now, set interval is like we can pass a function inside set interval and we can pass the time. So, interval means after regular intervals of let's say 1 second, this function will be running again and again till we stop the interval. Similarly, for set amount, it is kept that we want to run a function, and whatever time we have supplied after this specified time, the function will run, but only once. So that is the only difference. Set interval means it will run like infinite till we clear the interval. Uh, Otherwise, like the set timeout basically is running after some given specified time. So time is supplied here in milliseconds. Okay, so that is why into thousands over here. Now, how did alarm clock work? Let's have a quick look and we can discuss about what's going on, what's the flow, how we decided to create this clock. So let me just you can see that there is something called as a clock. Okay. Now this clock is basically showing up the time, okay, and which is the current time basically. Now getting the current time is not that difficult. We can basically say that let date is equals to something like new date. So there's a date constructor in JavaScript already present. We can use that part. So if you see like you already get all these things over here. So how did we use it? Now we know that anytime we fire a function, okay, this can generate us the current time. So we already know this key how to get the current time. Now how to use it in the DOM, that was the question. Okay, so I hope DOM is clear to you, document object model. If you have any doubt in this also, like we can discuss. But this is basically the use of DOM. Now how does it work is we have created the HTML, we have given the space. For example, this is time container, we are saying this is a div. Now with help of DOM, if you if we go through DOM, so DOM says that you can access element, you can change the text inside it. Okay, you can get the text, you can set the text, you can update it according to the DOM rules. Now there's a function basically that in the script you can see that we have a set interval function which calculates the current date. Okay, this is the current date. It finds out the current time. Now this date has already some functions. For example, we get this date object, we have something called as get date as a function which will tell the current date. Then we have something called as get month. Okay, we have the month over here, and similarly the date is there, month is there, and the year is there. So these are things just already present. The point is key, we got this document, okay, like this time container with help of document.getElement by id, and we set the inner text to the current time, and this is happening after every 1 second. Okay, so 1000 milliseconds means 1 second. So that is why we see this clock over here. The working of a stopwatch. So we also built a stopwatch. Let's see how it works. When you click on a start now, you can see that we have this stopwatch running. Okay. Now how is this working? Basically is we had this a stopwatch and we are like having a div which is like storing the time elapsed. Time elapsed means the time which like the current time which has been since we press the start button. Now how does this function basically is? Also, here we have two more buttons like a start watch and stopwatch. Basically, it is the starting the watch, okay, and this is for stopping the watch. Now, this is what event listener I'm talking about. So, listening to the click event or the mouse click, can be done in two ways. One is on click attribute. So these attribute asks for a function call, and we can supply the function. We can define the function below. Okay, so you can just check that this is the start function when we click on the start function. How does this work? So basically storing the time, current time. When you click on the start button, it is getting the start time. How does this start time work? Let's see that also. So date has a method, we call it now. Day.now basically supplies the total millisecond elapsed, after January 1, 1970. After January 1, 1970, that is taken as the first time, that is the 0 millisecond, January 1, 1970. After that, how many milliseconds have elapsed? We have the count over here. So this is how it works. Now the point is, since we have the current millisecond, okay. Now, whenever I'm after every 1 millisecond, I'm calculating the current time, and I'm subtracting when I press the start button and what is the current time. So that will give me the time taken or time elapsed, and that is what, like, I'm modifying using the two fixed and all these methods, and I'm again setting the time in the time elapsed box. So this is what I'm doing. Now a stopwatch. So there's a stop button is also there. So you can just stop it. So if you just stop, we can see that we have the time over here. Now the point is, basically stop is doing is, since we have used this set interval thing. So set interval method returns a ID. Okay, it is returning a ID, and that ID can be used to clear the interval. Clear interval means it can just clear the interval, and it will do the job. And same works for the alarm clock. So alarm clock asks for hour, minute, and second. So let's put 4 seconds only. Okay, and zero for hour and minute. So after 4 seconds, we put the set alarm thing. Okay, and so you can see that after 4 seconds, this alarm is. Okay. So this is what we had in the last session. Like created the alarm clock, and the stopwatch. Okay. I'll share the code with you, probably, like with everyone. Like I will post it to GitHub and share with you guys. Um, just wanted a quick view, like if you can tell on which topic you are currently, or like did you like are you getting till timing functions or not? So we can proceed forward with the keyboard events today. Okay. If that is clear, then I guess we are good to go. So let's start with the keyboard events. Now, basically, where the keyboards come into picture is basically we when we type in something, like, when the user type in something, or um, let's say uh, we are filling up a form, or maybe we are typing in the email password and all those things, the login credential we are filling. So these cases, the input comes into picture. Now in order to get the value and use it, so how do we do it? Let's see. Basically, if we have inputs, so this is the input tag, right? And let me give it a ID so that we can say that input dash one, okay, which is basically type. So using a input one, and basically the type can be text, but input type text is by default. So text is by default of input. So as we can write it, or we can mess it. It doesn't matter. Okay. Here I can write something as the label. Okay. And how does the label function? If you remember, so for an ID is there. So for will take this one. Okay, and we can take this out. Let's say email or something. like let's say username. Hi Rajat, hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Okay, so today we are planning to discuss keyboard events, and we'll also discuss event propagation today. Okay,
Okay, sir.
all right. So basically, for keyboard events, I'm writing an input, okay, because here is where you'll be typing in something and using your keys. There are certain other places that is not an issue, but okay, let's see that part. So I will quickly um, copy this, not cut this, copy this. Basically, I can paste one over here. So how does these events work? Let's see that part. So in the last class, we did the timer functions, okay, and here we are going to see. Now maybe it can be taken as email or something, okay, and I will say that it is a okay. All right, and let me put a heading that what we are going to learn today is keyboard events. Keyboard. All right. Uh, Not this keyboard. So not it was the key and this will be this. All right. Let me change it. Now, how does this event work? That is a question. Okay. So let me point this out. Now, if I just point this element, so it says that this is input. How do we get it? So basically, I can say document.getElement by ID, input one and put some listener to it. So let's write some script over here so that okay, either we go with the traditional method add event listener, or basically we have similar to on click, we have something called as Rajat, can you tell any keyboard events, like what are the keyboard events? Okay.
So, for example, when we press down key for
Yes.
long enough,
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Very
the
good.
alphabetical numeric key, punctuation key,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
key
Yes,
press
yes. So key press is
and
there,
key up,
key up is there, right?
key up. Yes, sir. Key down.
All right. So let's use one of them and we'll discuss the differences between these three. Okay. So what are the differences? Why do we have three of them? So that is also one question. So I will say key press handler. Okay. Key press handler. Let me create the function. Function key press. Function key press handler. And basically will be so whenever the key press is happening, let's put a console over here that the key was pressed. So I'll say the key pressed. All right. So this is good. Let's check it out. Now, now I have this key press handler on key press. Let me type in something and let's check the console what is happening basically. Okay, so if I say that the key presses, I am pressing the space, I am pressing enter, okay, and I am pressing the command. Okay, command keys, option keys, these are not working, right? Instead, like caps lock keys also not working. Okay, tab is working. Okay, no tab is also not working. So you can see that the key press is handled. Now, whenever I press a key, so it is registering the event, and basically it is running the callback function. So callback function is basically the key press handler, and we are putting a console on it. Acha, but that is not enough. Why it is not enough? How do we know which key is pressed? Let's say that what is the use case? The use case is if you have visited some websites, you have seen that when you type in the email or username, it says that it should contain a number, it should contain like large character, it should contain a small character, and it should contain a symbol. Have you gone through this type of form, like these requirements? So there's a specific criteria for password and these things they ask. Okay, now how do we do this? How do we know that which key was pressed? So for that we have something called as event. Okay, event. So you'll say, sir, event is already done. But the point is, whenever an event takes place, JavaScript creates an event. Okay, JavaScript creates an event. Now this event contains all the necessary information which is needed. Okay, so all the necessary information which is needed, like why this event happened, um, which key was pressed, and all those sort of things. Okay, so these things are taken care by the JavaScript. Okay, so let's print this event part. Okay. So you can see that if you see, it is exactly telling which key was pressed, and there's lots of other detail with this. So if you just check it out, just a second. So since okay, so we are listening to the key press event. Okay, we are listening to the key press event, which is a keyboard event. Now this event is fired. Okay, this function is fired whenever the key press happens, and whenever this event happens, JavaScript sends or create a event object. This event object is containing all the necessary information about the current event. Okay, now if you print this event, and let's check it out, what it is printing. So you see that whenever we press a key, let me clear this out. So whenever we press the key, okay, so whenever we press the key, let's say A, B, C, or something, so you can see that there are lots of information printed about the event which just took place. For example, is it trusted, is there alt keys there, bubbles is there. We'll study about bubble today. Okay, character code is there. What is the character code? So if you remember, what is the character code for a small a? Any guesses? Do you guys know ASCII code of alphabets?
Yeah,
Okay. For small a, it's 97, right? All right. So yes, it is 97, and for the
Yes, yes, sir.
capital A, it is 65, right?
65.
Yes, very correct. So for capital A, it is 65. So it should be printing 65 too. So let's see the key. Okay, yeah, very correct, very correct. Now, the point is, why do we need these key press even? So if you see the forms, like forms are something like, or the password field. They say password should include a character, password should include a symbol, or bigger case, smaller case. So how do we do this? How do we put the validation on input field? That is being done by the keyboard units. Acha, let's see other things. So here we have this key a kind of thing. Default prevented. We'll see what is default prevented. Path is there. So path is like, how do we reach till there? So window document HTML body input. Okay, from top to down. If you remember, we talked about the DOM tree. So DOM tree, windows is at the top, then the document, then the HTML body and input. Okay, so this is how the event occurred. Anything else? The type is key press, and the view we can check it out. But okay, it's fine. Acha. Using it for purpose, for example, let's say that I want to have a password input field, okay, and I want to put some validation above on it, and I will have a list of items which will say that this is done, this is done, this is done. So if you see, there is a tick going on if you fill the password, and it is like length is also checked, and the symbol and all those things are checked. So how do they manage that? So let's see that part. I'll say the type as password, and if you go on the key press, okay, I will say password check. Okay, password check. Now I want to like put some events on it. Okay, so basically registering a callback function. What is a callback function, guys? What do we mean by callback function? Okay, so whatever the event information is there now, that is already created by and supplied by JavaScript. So you will ask, sir, where did this argument come? So this event is automatically supplying the event object. Okay, so this is already being done by JavaScript. So हमें नहीं करना, right? So we already have this. My point is the set of keys. Okay, so for example, let's create a list of checks. Okay, I will call it check. Okay, let's put a div, and I can say checks. Okay, Which checks will be li elements? I will say length. The length of password be, the length is, let's say, 8 characters. I want the 8 characters. I want this to be 8 characters. All right, and the ID would be, let's say, something like length. Okay. Acha, so let's put three more conditions. So this is on the length of the input. Then we have a small case. Okay, small case. Okay. Let's change the ID. All right. Then we have the large case. Okay. So large alphabets. So large case, and I can say that as small and this is large. Finally, I can include alphabets also. Sorry, symbols also. So maybe we can ask for symbols. Okay, symbols. You must include a symbol. Okay, symbols. All right. Now we have this thing. We have the check in place. We have the password field. Now every time the user types in something, I need to check that if that criteria is satisfied or not. So how do we do it? Okay, let me paste this part. And basically, so this is the password field for ID input 3. Okay. Okay, let's go to the page and check it out. How we are going to do. Now, every time something happens, I will strike through this. Okay, I will strike through this. How do we strike through? So we have this, right? Then we have the ID length. Now, how to reach here? So I can say that document dot get element by ID, and we obviously have this as the length, right? Then we can put, okay, with help of DOM, we can change the styling also. Do you guys know this part? Like we can change the font and the height and width, all these things. All right, let's see that part. If you haven't used yet, not an issue. So we can change the styles also. Okay, that is totally fine. Okay, we can change the styles also. Now, style for strike through is how to strike through. Any guesses? Something called as text decoration. Okay, there's something called as text decoration css property, and we have this line through option. Okay, so you can just check it out. Okay, if you remember, the anchor tag has an underline below it. If you guys have seen that, so you can just remove that also. You can put to none if you want. If you don't want any underline, okay, you can just remove that part also. All right. So let's check it out. So basically, the style on this and the text decoration. So text decoration. Okay, text decoration. I hope this is correct. And we have put it this. Okay, so you can see that we can easily put this using the. Now my point is, this is email, so it should be changed to password so that we do not confuse ourselves. So let's proceed one by one. So firstly, I will write condition for the length check. Okay. So as soon as my password reach 8 length, okay, as soon as my password reach 8 length, I will just strike through the 8 character part. How to do that? Let's see. So basically, I will just refresh it. Now I have, let's say, this many character. How do we come to know the length? That is one part. So you already have the input 3, right? Now once we get that down, we can do anything over. Okay, so for example, for the input 3, document dot um, get element by id. So get element by id, and basically we can get the input dash 3. Okay, not this should be input, right? Input dash 3. Now we have the input, and we can get the length also. Okay, so we can say that inner text, and we can check the length. If you remember, inner text was giving the text and all. But There is a case for input element. What we use for input elements? For input elements, we use value. Okay. For input elements, especially we use the value. So you can see that 8 characters is exactly what we wanted. Okay. So I will take this reference to my password field. So I will say password field. Okay. So password field, and I get with the help of get element by ID. Now since I have the password field, my next point will be every time someone types in something, I will run all the conditions. Okay. So I will run all the conditions. Now if password field, okay, so password field dot value, okay, if password field dot value dot length, okay, dot length is greater than or equals to 8, I want to strike the condition. Okay, I want to strike this length condition. The length is done. कैसे करेंगे? Let's see. Document dot get element by id, and I want the length to be dot style dot text decoration. So text decoration equals to line through. So this is one thing. All right, let's see if this is working or not. Then we'll move to other conditions. Okay. So we'll clear this part. Now I will start on typing something and just focus on this one. If this is changing or not. Okay. So if everything is going good, then it should be changing the thing. Okay. You can see that as soon as we reach the 8 character part, this part is done. So either you put a check over here that is done, or use just a strike through it. Okay. Guys, is this part clear? Like this condition? How do we do
Yes,
it?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So,
Now,
but
yeah,
checks are good.
yeah, go on.
So, we tick the part at the turn, length in 8 characters. We instead of cut, we can simply check it.
Hmm. Okay, that is also done. So, okay, do you guys have used font awesome icons? Font awesome icons. Have you used that?
No, sir, not yet.
All right, let me show you something. So, for those check icons and all those icons now, you can refer to this site. I will quickly share this with you. So, just go through it once. You can find all the icons which is needed for our projects over. Okay, so they have very beautiful icons. For example, even I can use it so that you guys can have a look. You can use this check over there. Okay, once it is done, so I can use it, but I cannot use it until I have installed the script. Okay, and in order to do that, so I need something called as CDN link. How many of you know about CDN? We discussed this also. What is CDN? CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. Okay, Content Delivery Network. As you see delivery partners for like Flipkart and all other e-commerce thing. So we have software delivery network also. Okay, so developers like good developers like who have already created library to help other developers. They have stored their code on different servers all over the world, and CDN helps them to share the code with other developers. So, for example, Font Awesome icon is created by some other developers, but we can use their icons with the help of this CDN. So basically, you can see that it is a CSS file, nothing extraordinary. We have the CSS file, but their icons are very extraordinary. Like they have really created good icons, so you can just check it out. Okay, let me share this link with you too, so you can just use it on in your projects. We have icon set also. You can check out that website also. Okay, but for now, just check this. How can I use this one? That is one good code question. So maybe I can say that let's put a ID in here. Okay, ID, um, and this ID will be, let's say, a small check. Okay, small check. Acha. Tell me guys, how can I do this? I want the check to initially not appear on the page, but after it is done, it should appear. What condition can I write?
Can you pardon it again?
Okay. Now, what just requirement we said that key basically this tick will not be there initially because this is not done, right? Once we are done,
Yeah.
once we are done with the check, this tick should come, right? So, what CSS code are we going to write here? Things in term of display property. How can I disappear this? Any element from the page. How can I disappear that?
Place to inline block.
Okay, you are close to that property, but the value is not correct. Okay, you are close to the attribute. Display will only be used.
You wanted to say like
Just disappear. So it just gets removed from the page. So can I say we can use none? See, we don't have this large case thing in the page anymore. Are you guys
yeah.
getting the idea?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the idea. Okay. Initially, I will display it none. Okay. And once this condition meet, I will again make it inline. Okay. So it appears again. All right. So let me put the style as display, and let's make it display none initially. Okay. So initially this checks wouldn't appear, but after time when it's done, so they will appear. So small case, this is large case. Okay. There's a symbol, right? And basically I can use it here also. All right. Although the names can be changed, so I can say length check, length. Okay, so this is large case check, so ILARG. Okay, and finally the symbol part, symbol. All right. Now instead, so okay, so nothing to be changed, just this part to be changed. Okay, so I can say I was striking through it. Now I just want to make this make this input appear. So I want just to change the display property to something other than none. So what should I write here in get element by id? I want to reappear this input. So what is the id over here? Small check, right? And the style property I want to change is the display property, and the display should be having something called as inline. Okay. So once we are done with the check, I can just put it. Now, this is not a small check. This is the length check. Okay. Let's check it out if the tick is working or not. Okay. So this tick is initially display none, and after the display is being inline. All right. Let's check it out. So okay. I hope this works. Okay. Let's clear this part out. Now no checks are appearing over here, but do we have the icons? Let's see if this works or not. Okay, so I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we are okay. So yes, it is indeed appearing. The tech is there. Are you guys getting the point? How to do this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just display, changing the display, and you will get the tech. Acha, a small case. Let's just complete all the other condition. That's not any big deal. So once we have done this, the rest all are easy. Okay, we just saw how to get the character code of what we just typed. So how do we get that character code? With the help of event, right? We just saw the event, right? So it has the char code inside it. Okay, let me print that. Then, it will get a recap. So I will just print event. Okay. How do you know that which key is pressed? So I can just so you can check this part. Okay. So if you just go at this point, then we have something called as the char code. Okay. Char code say we'll know that it is the capital or large, capital or smaller one. Okay. So we have this char code, key code or char code. So event dot key code we can use. Okay, or char code, anything can be used. So I can go with the char code. Okay. Okay, I want to search for the smaller ones. Okay, smaller alphabets start from 97. Okay, so either it is equals to greater than equals to 97. Okay, and 97 plus 26, it would be how much it would be? 97 plus 26 would be 123, right? So basically, till 122 we have to check because 97 is also included. Are you guys getting this point?
Yes.
All right. Now the same thing. Okay. Now this is a repetitive code. No, like nothing extra over it. Okay. So just just like the length check, and we are doing the same for this one. Similarly, I can copy this part. Okay. So I want to check for the bigger one. Okay. Large character check. So I can put this one, and what I can see over here, event dot char code for larger character. What is ASCII code for capital A?
65.
Yes, 65. So, and 65 plus 26, what it will be? 26. So 6 to 8.
9. 91.
Yes, 91. Okay, so 91, and like one less, which is 90. One less because 65 is also included, right? All right. For the symbol, we need to check. Okay, but okay, let's see if these three are working, and then we are good to go with keyboard events. Okay, so firstly, the small k is passed. Let me type in capital. So capital is also passed, and the three checks up already passed from. Okay, so we can see that we have passed the three checks over here. Now for the symbols, we can check the ASCII table. Okay, so ASCII table. So I'm not so sure of like how the symbols appear, but we can check the table anyways. Hmm. Okay, so this is for the space we have from 40 and okay, so 65 is 5. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, no, okay. So here this is octal number system. So this is decimal number system, right? So for the decimals we have 32, 32 till 64. Okay, so 32 till 64 we have the symbols. Anything else? Nope. Are you guys getting the point, guys? The symbol part, space, and all these things. Number are also there. Okay, so number checks can also be included from 48 to 50. Okay, so 32 to 64 we have the symbols. You can just use it. All right, let's put the final check and we are good to go. So we have the 32 till 64. Okay, symbol check. So symbol check. Okay, and we'll make it. So initially, when you see the websites for the password requirements, so length should be 8 character. That will be a capital. So let's put a capital character. That is passed. Let's put a small character. That is also passed. Let's put a symbol. That is also passed, and some characters over here. So length 8 character. That is also passed. So this is how we do it. Okay. Are you guys getting the point? What is the use of keyboard events and why do we use it? How do we use it? I hope these three questions are clear to you guys. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
All right. So moving on, I wanted to like show you one thing. What is the difference? So there are two more of them. Okay. So this is the key press thing. Okay. So this is clear. Okay. This is key press. Now, apart from this, there is something called as on key down. Okay. On key down. Okay. Let me run this also. So on key down handler. And basically let me change this to on key up, key down. Why do we have all these? So like we already had the key press now, why do we have these three? So let's see that. So key up handler and key down handler. So let's create two more functions apart from our password check function. Okay, remember, the event object is given by JavaScript itself. Okay, it stores all the data into an event object, and that object is being supplied to us, and we can get the data for event, like which key was pressed and how does this function. Okay, and where it was pressed. So all those things are there. Okay, so function key up handler. Okay, so function key up handler, why it is throwing error? Because the spelling is wrong. All right. So I wanted to print the event because I want to show you guys something. So event, nothing more, just the event, and it will be clear. Okay. The key up, comma the event. Similarly, the key down also. So key press, key up, key down. So these are the keyboard events, right? All right. So we will say key down. Okay. So key and the event key. So in this email we have the. Did I refresh? Okay. So there's a key up handler and the key down event need to be checking the event. All right. So key up is also registered and key down. So this should be key down. So down. Okay. Let me copy this. So the name should be matching. Okay. So then only function will run. Okay. So I guess we're good to go. Okay. Let's check it out. Okay. So this is working. This must be something I should go check it out. But the point is, this username have something called as key up handler. Okay, and this is holding the key down handler. And why it is not working? Did we do anything wrong here? Yes, because the key down should be added on input, not on the label. I hope it will work now. Okay, so this key down is there. Okay, now you can see that if you see, uh, I am typing the alphabets. That is good. I am typing command. Okay. I am typing command again. So key down, any key on the keyboard. If we press it, that is noticed by key down event. Okay. Whereas this is key down. Okay. You see this? I click the okay. I will click option. Okay, or the alt key, so you can see that this alt key is registered. Whereas I will do the same thing in password also. Okay, I'm pressing the alt key, but there is no response. Whereas if I type in alphabets, everything is working. You can see this one. So key down listens to all the event. Okay, it doesn't matter which key we are pressing. Every key is noticed by key down, but not every key is noticed by key press. Is the difference clear, guys? Are you guys getting the difference? Um, guys, so my point is, alphanumeric key is noticed by key press, ठीक है, but these alt thing, command keys, these are not noticed by that, ठीक है. So if you want to notice that also, then you have to use key down event, ठीक है. So you need to use the key down event, key press, like key down event, not the key press. Key press only notices alphanumeric and the symbol and all enter thing. I hope the difference is clear. And same for the key up. So like key up, like if you want to notice the things, like the same thing, okay. So it also uh, holds everything, okay. So it will print everything. Now key up, so key up means we have pressed it down and the key is coming up, okay. So pressing the key and the key bounces back, so these are two events, and combining these we have a single, which is key press event. So there are total of three events happening: key down, then key up, and combining these, then we have a key press event. So there are total of three events with different use cases. So one thing to note here is key down event will not know the current value. Okay. Key down event will not know the current value because key is going down. Whereas key press and key up will know what is the current value because the key has already been pressed. The work is already done. So these are the different use cases for. So if you want to get the current value, okay, after typing, so after typing, key up will give the value and key press will give the value. But key down will give only the previous value, not the current value, because the key is not pressed yet. Is the difference clear, guys, between the events? Any
Yes,
issues?
sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
All right. Acha, so next thing can be basically there's something called as, okay. So let me check. Should we move to propagation? So event dot so key press only some keys are detected and alphabet and number all down. Okay, so key down and key up will notice all the keys. Okay, and event dot key code or the char code we just. Okay, there must be some difference between the event dot key code and the char code. So event dot key code and event dot char code. Okay, so you can just check it out. The key press event is there. Okay, okay, just check it out. Let me share this link also. Now we are going to learn a very important concept in JavaScript we call as event propagation. Okay, we call it event propagation. Okay, event propagation. What is event propagation? How does this work? To see that. So basically, I'll write this, and that's the proposal. I will create three divs. Okay, so let's see the div. Okay, div one, div two, div three, and the names would be, let's say, the class, okay, outer, mid, and inner. Okay, so these are the three divs we have created. Let's style it quickly. So I will say style, okay, dot outer. Let's give it some height and width. So height, let's goes to 400 pixels. The width to goes not this. The width to goes 400 pixels. Okay, and the background color goes to something like this. All right, we have this mid, we have the inner. The mid, let's give a smaller size, 200 pixels, and finally it takes 100 pixels. Let's change the color to maybe blue or something, and finally let's change the color back to something else. Okay, all right, let's see what we are going to notice. And basically, before we proceed, I want to put clicks on it. Okay, lots of clicks. Okay, only three clicks. Okay, and this click I want to console.log. Yes, you can directly write it over here, no issues. Okay, so you can console log. Okay, now if you notice, I want to console log a string, but this is giving me error. Okay, I'm using double quotes over here, but it is giving me error. Why is it giving me error? Any guesses? Because it is thinking that double quotes started here and ended here. This is error. So how do we do it? We can use the single quotes. Okay, outer click. Okay, outer click. Right. Then we have two more clicks. The mid one and the inner. So there are three boxes nested inside one another, having the on click in. Okay, how does this function? That is one question. Let's see that part. All right. Let me copy the URL. Let's hit this. Okay, so we have the three boxes over here. Okay, I just want to check the console now. So tell me what should be printed. So let me go through the code again. So we have three on clicks. Outer has the outer click. It will print outer click. Then I will the mid will print mid, and the inner will print the inner. Now, the point is, tell me what should be printed. What should be printed? This is the outer div. This is the mid div. This is the inner div. What should be printed if I click this? The outer box. It's very easy. It should print the outer click, right? Guys, are you clear with this? That is straightforward, right? All right. Next point is, what will happen if I click the blue box? It should print mid click and the outer click. All right. And what happens if we click this? So it is printing inner, mid, and outer click. Can you guys tell why this is happening? Why we have three of them over here, two of them over here, and single of one over here? Any guesses? What is happening?
Because they are in between the outer books.
Okay, it means that the event is listened by all the parents also.
Yes, sir.
That is only the case, right? So
Yes, sir.
this thing can only occur, okay, if the event propagation takes place. Like if I'm clicking on inner and the mid and the outer is listening, it means that the event is propagating. Are you guys getting the thing? Like what do we mean by event propagation? Okay. Acha. It means that if I put on click on body, so body would also be listening to it. Can play.
It acts like like a nested.
All right. So let's say that I do the same thing over here. Okay, the console log, and I want to. Okay, again single quotes. A click happened or something. Okay. All right, let's see if the event propagation reaches the body. It should. By the definition, if I'm saying that if I click on a box and if it is inside any element, then every other, like every other ancestor or the parent over there will listen to that click. So tell me, if I click this the inner box, how many console would be there?
Three, I guess.
Three were already there. One we added on body also, right?
Yes.
So total would be,
Oh,
Four.
yes. Are you guys getting the point? So whenever the event is generated, it reaches till the like top. Okay, it starts from HTML, goes the target, and then the event is propagating to upwards. Okay, so this is the point. Acha, one more thing associated with this also, whenever we click a target, okay, okay, so what is target? So whichever box is clicked, we call it a target node. Okay, if you remember, I talked about dom tree. So when I'm telling tree, it means that every element behaves as a node, as we have seen in the tree. In Java we learned about trees, right? So that is what we call a node. So here also we call it node. So whatever be the click is happening, so we call it the target node, which was the target. All right, there is one more thing. So this is event propagation phase, okay, and we call it event bubbling. So bubble is in like bottom of the water, and it comes to the top of water. So this is the same thing. Event is at the bottom, it is coming to the top of it. But there is one more reverse part of it, which happens before this bubbling happens. We call it event bubbling, okay. Before event bubbling, there is something happens, we call it event capturing. That is also one of the concept. Now, how this event capturing works, let's see in the coming session. Okay. For now, just check this part. And if I print the event also, just for once, okay, for you guys, let's print the event. Do we have the event? Okay, so it should be having the event also. All right. Okay, anyways, let's see that in the coming session. So this is what we have event propagation, guys. We'll talk about capturing and the event part in the next class, so that we'll check it. We'll see it. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We will meet in the next session. But before you go, let's mark the attendance. So, where is it? And guys, please complete the assignments, whatever is there. I would really like you guys to be on time, okay? So that we do not delay due to assignments. If you need any help, like even if you have the session on that day or not, you can just feel free to reach out, okay? So we can discuss the issues. All right. So I will just mark the people present. So Achal is there, Jamal was there, and we have Rajat. Thank you so much, guys. Let's meet in the next session. Okay. Bye.
okay, sir. Hello. Bye, sir.
Bye. Hi, Harshit.
Hello, sir.
How is it going?
Yeah,
All right. So JavaScript has started.
yes, it started.
All right. That is good. Just wait. Let's wait for a minute, and then we can begin. Right.
Yeah.
I'll just reshare the screen and it's recording.